Little Red Riding Hood by Elena Shaw, Michelle Beeman, and Perla Diaz Hernandez. Once upon a time, there was a young girl who lived with her mother at the edge of a forest. She was quite shy and nervous and often struggled to make friends. She often picked her skin. It became an obsession. She was embarrassed about what others would think about her scars. Her granny made her a beautiful red velvet cape with the hood to help her feel more secure and safe when leaving the house. It suited her so well that everybody called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day her mother told her, "Little Red, go and see how Granny is doing, for I hear she is sick in bed again. We'll pack her a basket with cake and wine to help her feel better." Granny lived on the other side of the forest, and it made Little Red feel anxious about walking all the way alone. Unconsciously, she started picking the skin of her cuticles on her fingers. As her mother was packing the basket, she noticed Little Red picking her fingers and said, "Stop picking, Little Red. That is a bad habit and you shouldn't do that." Little Red justified her behavior by saying that it helps her feel better when she is doing it. Her finger bled a little, so her mother helped her put a bandage on. Commencing her journey, she headed for the forest. Walking through the woods by herself, she started to feel anxious. Without realizing it, she started picking the skin on her fingers again. Not noticing what was on her path, she came upon a rather large wolf. "Hello, Little Red. Lovely day," he said. "Quite a nice day," she said, hiding her hands. "Where are you off to so early?" "I'm going to see my granny. She's sick, so I'm bringing her some cake and wine so she will feel better." "Does she live far away?" asked the wolf. "She lives on the other side of the forest, next to the huntsman's house," Little Red said. The wolf noticed Little Red had a bandage on her finger. "What's wrong with your finger?" Little Red felt ashamed and hid her hands behind her back. She was afraid the wolf would judge her and didn't want him to know about her bad habit. "I'm not hungry, but I feel compelled to eat her up. I could eat both her and her granny," the wolf thought to himself. "Look at the pretty flowers around here. Why don't you pick some for your granny? A bouquet would really cheer her up." Little Red thought it was a good idea, so she left the path to pick flowers. While picking flowers, she noticed a scab on her finger. It was tempting to pick at it, but if she did, she knew she wouldn't stop until she was satisfied. She tried to resist, but her urge to pick at it was increasing as well. Little Red gave in. Setting the flowers aside, she sat down, beginning to pick her skin. Meanwhile, the wolf, with a smirk of duping delight, ran straight to Granny's house. He knocked on the door. "Who is it?" asked Granny. "It's Little Red Riding Hood," said the wolf. "I have cake and wine for you. Just open the door." Deceived by the wolf, Granny said, "Come on in. I'm too weak to get up." The wolf opened the door, went straight to Granny's bed, and swallowed her right up. Then he put on her clothes and lay down in her bed, pretending to beat her. Little Red had gathered some flowers and continued on to Granny's. When she arrived, she found to her surprise that the door was open. Feeling anxious, she stood at the door for a while, thinking, and without realizing it, she was picking the skin on her fingers. Little by little, she continued to pick her skin until she got enough courage to step through the door. She went to the bed, and Granny was lying there looking very strange. Looking at Granny, she started biting her lip, which made her feel more at ease. She noticed something strange about Granny. "Granny, what big ears you have!" "All the better to hear you with, my child," the wolf replied. She took a step closer, picking her fingers even more. One started to bleed a little. "Granny, what big eyes you have," she said. "All the better to see you with, my child," said the wolf. Little Red took another step closer to see Granny. She started chewing the skin on her lip, and this too started to bleed a little. "Granny, what big teeth you have," she exclaimed. "All the better to eat you with," said the wolf. As Little Red was closer now, he noticed the blood on Little Red's fingers and lip. This made him feel so queasy that he barked Granny right up. She rolled out across the floor. Just then the huntsman was passing by and heard the commotion, and with pure altruism decided to check on them. "What is going on in here? Do you need help?" the huntsman asked. Little Red told him that the wolf had swallowed up Granny, but barfed her out of the sight of blood. The huntsman chased after the wolf until he ran away. The huntsman made sure both Little Red and Granny were safe. "Did the wolf scratch you?" he said, looking at Little Red's fingers. Embarrassed by it, she hid her hands. "No, it's just a bad habit. I pick at my skin when I feel anxious or nervous." "I think you might have an excoriation disorder. It's a psychological disorder, sometimes called dermatillomania. It's a type of obsessive-compulsive behavior. Some people pick their skin because it gives them a sense of relief or satisfaction. My brother happens to have this disorder, so I know a few things about it." Little Red responded, "Oh, I thought it was a really bad habit. When I'm stressed, I just feel a compulsive urge to do it and can't seem to stop myself no matter how hard I try." My brother said cognitive behavioral therapy helped him deal with excoriation disorder. Your family can stop by to ask my brother about it. Granny and Little Red thanked him for saving them from the wolf. Little Red Riding Hood was to know that they were safe. She felt cheerful to know that now she would learn how to treat her habit as she thought of it. Saying goodbye to Granny, Little Red headed home, excited to tell her mother everything. The end.